Well, it's Fabulous Friday, February 12th, 2021. Welcome to the reading of the Record Courier. My name is Pam, and let's begin. There were no new area deaths in today's Record Courier, so we'll start with our first article. Report: Portage County had 13 fatal crashes in 2020 by Jeff Saunders. According adults and children, men and women, when it came to fatal traffic crashes in the county in 2020, no one was safe. According to the Portage County Fatal Crash Review Board's recently released report for 2020, there were 13 fatal crashes countywide last year, 6 of them during the final 3 months, with a total of 17 deaths. By comparison, there were 14 fatal crashes in 2019, but with 14 deaths and 4 fatal crashes in the final 3 months of the year. The leading contributing cause of fatal crashes in Portage County was unsafe speed, followed by failure to yield, left to center, and failure to control, according to information from the review board. In 9 of the crashes, the at-fault driver was under the age of 30. In more than 50% of the deaths, safety belts were not used. 2 commercial vehicles were involved in crashes, however, 0 commercial drivers were at fault. 12 of the 13 crashes occurred on rural roads. There were 0 motorcycle-related crashes in 2020. All 13 fatal crashes in 2020 occurred between May 4th and December 14th, and in 9 of the fatal crashes, the at-fault driver was younger than 30. 3 crashes in 2020 involved multiple fatalities. On December 3rd, Ravenna resident Julianne Sheed lost control and drove a pickup truck off the side of Peck Road at a high rate of speed, where it struck a tree, killing 3 of the truck's 7 passengers, according to the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Among the fatalities were Sheed's 2 daughters, Marlena J. Mullen, 22, and Christine Sheed, 12, and Evie Montecalvo, 13. Sheed, her 14-year-old sons Garrett and Austin Sheed, her nephew Matthew Glass, 19, and Brandon Kreutzer, 15, were injured. Sheed had been indicted on 20 felony and misdemeanor charges, which include operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol and meth. The Highway Patrol has said that besides driver impairment, not wearing seat belts was also a factor in the crash. 6 of the occupants were ejected from the truck. On December 2nd, Ravenna resident Michael Hayner, 28, and Windham resident Tammy Bortz were killed after a westbound SUV driven by Hayner crossed the center line on Route 82 in Windham Township and struck the SUV driven by Bortz head-on, causing it to overturn. Sergeant Sean Baskerville of the Highway Patrol's Ravenna Post said Wednesday that Hayner is considered the at-fault driver, but what exactly caused him to cross the center line is unknown. On September 25th, Mukhtar B. Kamara and Nikian F. Sase, both Youngstown State University students from Sierra Leone, died after their vehicle went off Interstate 76 in Palmyra Township. Contributing causes for the crash included unsafe speed and distracted driving, it was reported. The Fatal Crash Review Board is a requirement of Portage County Safe Communities, a program of the Portage County Health Department. Lynette Blazeman, project director for Portage County Safe Communities, said the purpose of the review is to identify specific ways to prevent crashes, including public education and traffic law enforcement. During that fatal review, we look at trends and try to identify and make recommendations that may prevent recurring crashes, she said. She said education efforts are somewhat limited currently with the inability to take part in various events, but are ongoing with social media messaging, both by individuals and groups involved with Safe Communities and by Safe Communities itself. Right now, there are still COVID restrictions, but our recommendations are still going to focus on speed and the use of seatbelts, said Blazeman, adding that despite the limitations, the effort is effective. Blasseman said Safe Communities is a coalition of individuals and groups, including law enforcement, university hospitals, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the Ohio Department of Transportation, and private businesses. The Fatal Review Board includes some Safe Community participants, as well as the Portage County Prosecutor and Coroner's Office. Safe Communities is funded with an annual grant that is administered by the Ohio Traffic Safety Office of the Ohio Department of Public Safety. The 2021 grant is $35,000. Unfortunately, if you qualify for the grant, you have a high fatal crash average, said Blasseman. And now, Portage Commissioners take steps to take over County Airport by Diane Smith. In order to be better poised to leverage grants for upgrades and future expansion, Portage County Commissioners are weighing taking over operations of the Portage County Regional Airport. The airport is currently governed by an 8-member board of trustees appointed by the commissioners. Assistant Prosecutor Chris Midori said the first step is for the airport board to approve a resolution announcing its intent to dissolve. The eventual transfer of property would have to be approved in court. The county also would likely need to buy out the fixed-base operator at the airport, Portage Flight Center, which manages the airport, but it's unclear how much that would cost. Once the airport is under county ownership, it's believed it would be better able to leverage grants for major projects, such as an extension of the runway, which has been in discussion for years. That project, advocates for the airport say, would make the airport a draw for corporate aircraft. Commissioner Sabrina Christian Bennett said the airport board recently met with the FAA representatives. The FAA is very excited to see that the county has an interest in the airport, she said. In addition to projects at the airport, commissioners are looking to spend about $5 million on improvements to county properties. Todd Bragg, the county's Director of Budget and Financial Management, said the county typically spends about $1.5 million annually on building maintenance, but has not done so in a few years. Some of those projects include addressing problems with the parking areas south of the county courthouse in Ravenna, which is expected to be a major expense. Roofs are needed at the county dog warden's office, the County Records Center in Shalersville, and Riddle Block 1 in Ravenna, and roof work also will soon be needed at the EMA station and the former motor pool. Other projects discussed included upgrades at the County Board of Elections, elevator repair, and Wi-Fi in county buildings such as the courthouse. Commissioners also directed their staff to look into grant possibilities for removal of the Hills Pond Dam, also known as the Pretty Glen Dam. Located just north of Mogadore, in eastern Summit County near the Portage County border, the small dam has been a headache for the county since 2012. In 2016, engineering firm EMH&T of Columbus determined that major structural repairs would be needed to increase holding capacity, or the dam would need to be removed, with the retention basin replanted to allow a free flow of water. The county took steps towards removing the dam in 2018, but nothing was ever done. Now commissioners have directed staff to look into grants for restoration of the stream bed, which represents the largest share of the project cost. The Kent State University Museum reopens to the public with new exhibit featuring regional dress across Europe. The Kent State University Museum has reopened to the public with a new exhibition, Stitched: Regional Dress Across Europe. Stitched will be on display through December and features 75 pieces exclusive to the museum's permanent collection. This exhibition showcased common features shared by regional costume across Western and Eastern Europe, including examples from Norway, the Netherlands, Slovakia, Romania, and Albania. Regional dress signaled the village or region from which a person came, and while it was designed to mark social and cultural differences such as religious affiliation, gender, age, and marital status, Stitched draws attention to the shared commonalities of the exhibition pieces rather than their differences. An ensemble from southern Moravia in Slovakia is featured in Stitched Regional Dress across Europe, a new exhibition that is now open at the Kent State University Museum. Regional dress has been a subject that I have researched extensively for the past decade, and I am very excited to have the opportunity to bring together these remarkable pieces into a single exhibition, said Sarah Hume, museum and Stitched curator. The pieces are stunning, and I hope for the entire exhibition to be a visual feast. The Kent State University Museum is located at 515 Hilltop Drive at the corner of East Main and South Lincoln Streets in Kent. The museum is open to the public Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. All tickets must be purchased in advance through the museum's online ticketing service. All visitors are required to wear a face covering when inside the building. Admission is $6 for adults, $5 for seniors, and $4 for children aged 5 to 17. The museum is free for children under 5 and for those with a Kent State ID. Sunday admission is free for all ages. Parking is free for all museum attendees. Patrons should use the allotted museum spaces in the Rockwell Hall parking lot. For more information, call 330-672-3450 or visit www.kent.edu/museum. Up next, early Valentine's Day celebration, a sweet treat for Portage seniors. The Portage County Senior Center celebrated Valentine's Day a little early with a festive drive-through party. Senior Center Manager Teresa Summers and Portage 4-H Coordinator Ashley Huey worked together on a project that would connect Portage seniors with the younger generation. The end result was asking 4-H groups to create handmade valentines and gift bags filled with handwritten notes, photos, candy, puzzles, and other items. Sadly, in many cases, our senior population either don't have good supportive family and friends, or their family may live across the country, so are not getting to interact with them, Summers said. Valentine's Day and birthdays are the perfect time for us to let our seniors know how much we love and appreciate the sacrifices they have made to pave the way for the next generation. Summers said that during the pandemic, a time when people are feeling even more isolated, it's important for her organization to keep seniors feeling engaged. I think seniors have had it especially rough staying inside throughout the holidays and just want to get out, even if it's just to say hello in a drive-through format, she said. More than 11 4-H clubs and a local group of moms stepped up and made more than 200 Valentines for the event. Those not handed out on Wednesday will be delivered to homebound seniors in the community. Both 4-H members and senior citizens have had a tough year with all in-person meetings and events being canceled, so this project idea was a great way to try and connect these two groups, Huey said. The Senior Center serves people 60 and older in Portage County. For more information about programs, call 330-297-3456. For more information about Portage County 4-H, visit portage.osu.edu or call 330-296-6432. Our next article, Abigail's tapped as Business of the Year in Aurora by Bob Gagins. An active business participant in a variety of community activities, Abigail's, owned by Julie Lazar, has received the 2020 Business of the Year Award from the Aurora Chamber of Commerce. We were really surprised, said its Lazar, who recently received the award surrounded by family, chamber officials, and city leaders. Everyone around me knew for a couple of weeks. I was very proud of them. Nobody blew it. The nomination notes Lazar's community involvement and consistent dedication to Aurora's business community. In the past 10 years, Abigail's has become a staples in the community, states the nomination. Lazar is always supportive of community and school events and is always making donations to fundraisers. Aurora Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Karen Bosley said the Chamber has chosen not to name the people who nominated the winners this year. She affirmed that Laser has been a leader in the business community in recent years. What we looked for with the businesses was we asked how the business had made positive contributions to the community and if they've received any awards or been recognized for anything, said Bosley. Usually, the business of the year is honored at the Chamber's holiday party, but that didn't happen this year. The person of the year is also usually named at that event, as well, added Bosley. According to the nomination, Laser served on the Chamber's AWIN committee, a WIN committee. Abigail's, a ladies' boutique featuring a variety of clothing and accessories, is located at 178 South Chillicothe Road, behind the 815 Tavern. We have some bigger lines and local jewelry, said Laser. We have a couple gift items that are always made locally. She said the store, located at www.shopabigails.com online, is blessed to have a wonderful following. The business closed for 6 weeks earlier this year during the COVID-19 shutdown, but was ultimately able to rebound, she added. She said she tries to support the community as much as possible. We always donate to all the sports teams, the after prom, anything to do with the chamber, the Aurora Scholarship Fund, says Laser. I personally try to support as many local businesses as I can. It's so easy for people to go right to Amazon. Abigail's also supports the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund annually. Every year on our anniversary, we have a sale, and a percentage of our sales go to the JDRF, she said. When making contributions, Laser said she doesn't bother calculating their potential benefit to Abigail's. I don't really think about that kind of thing, said Laser. The community supports me, so I try to give back as much as I can. Hours at Abigail when Laser works with 2 part-time employees are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday and noon to 4 p.m. on Sundays. It's just really nice people are realizing that you do a lot of things for the community, she said. COVID-19 kept Aurora Fire Department calls down in 2020. Oops, I think that's a new article. COVID-19 kept Aurora Fire Department calls down in 2020. By Ken Lamers, special reporter to the Aurora Advocate. Overall calls responded to by the Aurora Fire Department in 2020 declined by 290 from 2019, according to Fire Chief David Barnes' year-end report of department activities. There were 2,155 total calls, 1,584 EMS, and 571 fire, compared to 2,445 in 2019. Much of that decrease was because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which made people reluctant to go to hospitals and forced nursing homes to keep less critical patients in-house, Barnes said. Total calls in 2018 and 17 were 2,137 and 2,193, respectively. Fire loss for the year was estimated at 107,472. Barnes said that was mostly from a commercial kitchen fire at the Aurora Inn, a basement fire on Aurora Hudson Road, and a garage on Crackle Road. All of those fires were extinguished quickly, and there were no injuries to occupants, Barnes said. Major purchases last year included exhaust removal systems for both stations, an inflatable rescue boat, and a new aerial ladder truck. The latter cost about $900,000 and should arrive in the latter half of 2021. 95% of the exhaust system was funded by a Federal Emergency Management Agency grant. The rescue boat replaced one that was about 20 years old, while the ladder truck will replace a 1986 model and will be more versatile, maneuverable, and easier to operate. Other new equipment purchased focused on the COVID-19 pandemic, including infrared thermometers, a Victory electrostatic disinfectant gun, washable PPE gowns, and other protective gear. The AFD adjusted to the many changes brought on by COVID-19 by having more videotaped engagements, said Barnes. University hospital personnel conducted monthly training sessions for the AFD's emergency medical crews, while firefighters participated in a variety of training sessions, and some were involved with the Portage County Search and Rescue Team and Portage County Fire Investigation Unit. Aurora participated in Portage County water shuttle exercises in Troy, Russell, Bainbridge, and Southington townships. And EMT students from University Hospital did ride-alongs with local crews to witness real situations and responses. The Fire Prevention Bureau continued to promote safety in existing buildings and new construction, reviewing plans, issuing permits, conducting acceptance tests for fire sprinkler systems and fire alarms, and carrying out final certificate of occupancy inspections at large commercial industrial sites. Inspectors performed 420 safety inspections of commercial industrial occupancies and issued more than 200 notices of corrective action. Public relations and education is a large part of the department's job as it continued to provide instructors for businesses and schools, said Barnes. However, the COVID pandemic meant Captain C.W. Hudson taught fire extinguisher classes to only 15 business employees, compared to more than 600 in 2019. Firefighter Mike Overholt taught CPR training in the schools and to various groups, and certified 253 people in either healthcare provider CPR or Heart Saver AED and/or first aid. 4 firefighters are National Child Passenger Safety Certified Technicians, and they installed 25 child protective seats in 2020, while the AFD continued its partnership with the Aurora One Fund to supply and install smoke detectors in homes. The residential lockbox program, instituted in 2017, saw 31 residents request boxes, bringing the total to 120. The boxes contain a key to the resident's home and allow first responders to gain entry when a resident cannot make it to a locked door. The department joined city leaders in a video to recognize local war heroes and did a drive-by for a veteran's 100th birthday. Barnes made his famous chili for the annual Christmas Eve blood drive, at which 83 units were collected. Firefighters usually participate in community events such as parades, distance runs, and truck days to establish a friendly relationship with residents, but COVID curtailed most of those events last year. It was a difficult year, but we learned to adjust to new protocols because of COVID-19, says Barnes. We are continuing our history of excellent service while keeping firefighters, paramedics, and residents safe. As we move forward into 2021, we will continue to provide prompt, professional, and superior care for our residents and the structures we are entrusted to protect. Our next article, Along the Way, Remembering the Granges and the Pleasures of Their Company by David Dix. During my 48 years in the newspaper business, I came to savor writing obituaries. I liked writing them because an obituary is a summing up and the opportunity to say something good about the person to be entered into the permanent record about that person's life. Mary Beth Harper of Harper & Company Communications has written and posted on Facebook 2 beautiful obituaries about her parents, both of whom, so devoted to one another, died during 2020, only 5 months apart. Her father, Dr. William Grange, an optometrist 93 years old, and his lovely wife, Mary Grange, a few weeks short of 92. I remember meeting them years ago when they were visiting Kent from their home in Grand Island, Nebraska. They had a friendliness about them that I like to think is typical of the Midwest. The Granges were part of the generation that TV anchor Tom Brokaw popularized with the phrase, "the greatest generation." They both grew up in the Depression in South Dakota. Dr. Grange served in World War II in the South Pacific and spent 10 months in Okinawa, Japan, and China before his honorable discharge from the Navy. As a veteran on the GI Bill, which caused him to conclude he would never object to paying his taxes, he was able to attend Northern State Teachers College in Aberdeen, South Dakota, which is where he met the love of his life, Mary Matthews. He received his Doctor of Optometry degree from Northern Illinois College of Optometry in Chicago, after which he and his wife were married and began their lives together, eventually with their 5 children settling in Grand Island, Nebraska, where Dr. Grange practiced optometry for 45 years. Outgoing and friendly like his daughter, Mary Beth, the doctor relished meeting people and sharing stories. He had a knack for finding just the right humorous story or remark that could put people at ease. He was a 60-year member of Lions, a charter member of the Grand Island Little Theater, starring in some of its productions, and helped found a Toastmasters Club, where he took first place in one of its statewide competitions. He enjoyed outdoor sports. When the good doctor retired, the obituary said a patient wrote him and asked, "Who will I stop and see when I come back to Grand Island? You're the only person who remembers my folks." At first a teacher, his wife, a pretty woman, eventually devoted herself to her husband and their children. Like her daughter, Mary Beth, who can read 10 books in the time it takes me to plod through one, Mrs. Grange was a good reader. She enjoyed bridge playing, being involved in her church, and serving as a volunteer English language tutor who helped immigrants with GED exams and citizenship tests. In the obituary, Mary Beth writes that her mother told her she fell in love with her husband the first time they met. She enjoyed his outgoing manner, and his stories made her laugh. Families usually provide the foundation that shapes us. When twins Sam and Will Harper graduated from Kent State, Janet and I were at that commencement, and President Carol Cartwright singled them out for their academic success and their leadership qualities. Sam recently took a job as Vice President of Data Intelligence and Technology for the Colorectal Cancer Alliance in Washington, D.C. Will's career has focused on humanitarian work, and he currently is head of mission for a Doctors Without Borders project in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The 2 young men learned from the good example of their older sister, Kate Gooding, a top-notch student of economics and now director of marketing data strategy at Expedia Group in Austin, Texas. Those 3 siblings surely benefited from the positive examples of their grandparents, Dr. William and Mary Grange. On Mary Beth's Facebook page, I stumbled onto a report of that couple's 65th wedding anniversary, and in it, Dr. Grange said he considered himself very lucky because he had been able to pursue a career he loved and marry the woman who was the love of his life. The lives of those 2 were certainly well lived. The Granges were a couple we all might have benefited from and taken pleasure in getting to know. And now, letter to the editor, Mental Health and Recovery Board committed to serving Portage County's Black community, by John Garrity. As we celebrate Black History Month this February, we reflect on the generations of African Americans who have struggled with adversity. According to Health and Human Services Office of Minority Health, Black adults in the U.S. are more likely than white adults to report persistent symptoms of emotional distress, such as sadness, hopelessness, and feeling like everything is an effort. Black adults living below the poverty line are more than twice as likely to report serious psychological distress than those with more financial security. Despite the needs, only 1 in 3 Black adults who need mental health care receive it. The Mental Health and Recovery Board of Portage County is committed to working to provide services to the African American citizen of Portage County who need them. If you or a loved one is struggling, reach out for the help. Connect with a trusted friend, spiritual leader, or healthcare provider. The Portage County Helpline is available anytime a person needs to talk or in need of resources. Call 330-678-HELP or 330-678-4357. And now, Portage County Crime Reports. Of course, these are a sampling of incidences responded to by local law enforcement agencies, not intended to be all-inclusive. Edinburgh Township. Seth Robert Bond, 28, of Akron, was charged with improper handling of a firearm in a motor vehicle and carrying a concealed weapon both fourth-degree felonies, and unclassified misdemeanors, driving without a valid license, and was cited with marijuana possession, drug paraphernalia possession, and a headlight violation after the Ohio State Highway Patrol stopped his vehicle on Route 14 westbound at about 10:20 p.m. on Sunday, and they allegedly found a loaded 9mm handgun accessible to the man without leaving the vehicle, suspected marijuana, and an electronic scale with residue on it in the vehicle. Bond is scheduled for arraignment in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on Friday. Well, my dear friends, that concludes the reading of the Record Courier for Friday, February 12th, 2021. My name is Pam, and I want to thank you for inviting me into your home. Please stay safe until we are here together again. Be blessed. Have a great Valentine's Day. Know you're loved, and do what you can do to make today a really great day.